Canaan. We're working with the First Selectman's Office, the Human Resources Department, and the Finance Office.
I'm Toby Woods. I'm also interning here at Town Hall. So again, as Mark mentioned, we're splitting our time between a whole bunch of different departments and getting to work on a lot of different projects. It's been really interesting.
How has New Canaan High School prepared you for this internship?
I'd say that the high school prepared us by just getting us versed in the technology that we use here and just being able to use the computers to communicate between the different departments, just setting us up with basic email skills and stuff like that. And also just the ability to get things done quickly, I'd say. I think at the high school, especially with the homework, with the deadlines and everything, you're usually going really fast paced. But here it's a little nicer because you can slow it down a bit. So I feel like we're almost going a little faster than normal, which is, I think we're purposeful.
Yeah, and then just to add on to that a little bit. So the high school kind of does two things for us. On the one hand, we learn how the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, and we learn how to solve differential equations. But the other part of it, which is, in my opinion, even more important, is we learn people skills and how to present and how to do research and formulate opinions. And those are really the skills that we've been using a lot here in Town Hall, because there's a bunch of meetings we've been sitting in, and we've even had the opportunity to participate in some of these meetings, and that's all these presentation skills we've been working on since middle school pretty much. So it's those skills like the presentation and self-advocacy and the people skills that have been really useful that Canaan has done a great job preparing us for.
Have you guys had a chance to lead any projects of your own?
Yeah, so I could talk about that a little bit. So yeah, there's a mixture between a lot of assignments that we've been given. So basically if we take our time here and we split it between about 3 different things. So one is we sort of get shown around different parts of the town hall. We also have gone on a few tours of construction projects in town, which have been fun. So that's sort of the first third of our time. The second third is projects that we've been assigned to. So for instance, yesterday we had a project from the finance department, which is basically going through and sorting through a whole bunch of invoices. They're working on the town's audit right now. And then we also have a whole bunch of independent projects that we've been working on. The main one is we've been talking with the Chamber of Commerce about a potential move of the farmers market to downtown Elm Street, or some other way that we would shut down Elm Street to car traffic for on the weekend in the summer, and have that as a pedestrian space and do something kind of like the sidewalk sale, if you're familiar with that. So that's one of the independent projects we've been working on. So we've been working with Tucker Murphy, who works here in Town Hall, and the Chamber of Commerce as well, and getting people on board with that, which has been fun to see.
What's been the most challenging part of this internship?
I guess communicating with all the different things that we have going on. So yesterday we were doing the finance project, and then today we sat in on a union labor meeting, and then we've had some stuff going on with the Chamber of Commerce, and it's just a lot of different things are happening at the same time, sort of. And so just balancing where we want to be and when, and what we want to be doing during our free time and stuff. So I'd say the actual projects have been manageable, but it's just figuring out in what order to do them and how to get them done during our free time.
Yeah, so we're kind of like catch-all interns. So we're with the First Selectman's Office, but we're also helping with HR and finance and public works. So there's a whole bunch of different departments we're splitting our time between. So making sure that we're all organized and on top of everything, and we can get the stuff done that we've been told to do is important.
What are the most valuable skills you've picked up during your time here?
I mean, personally, I think self-advocacy is one of the main things, because we're just, we're the high school interns here. So, obviously town government can run just fine without us. So we've been really putting a lot of effort in to make sure that we can get a lot of really interesting projects, and also we can work on our own independent projects and sort of make our own progress on that. And that really all comes down to having the confidence to advocate for yourself, because everyone here is, amazing and super supportive of us, but we're the ones who have to make that first step and, make the meeting happen.
Yeah. Because if we wanted to, we could just regress and be the coffee guys in the background. That would just be kind of filling out the paperwork. But everyone here is super supportive, but they're not going to give us interesting things to do unless we really ask and push a little bit.
Has this aligned with your initial expectations?
I mean, at least for me, this has well surpassed all my expectations. It's because, again, as you said earlier, I didn't know if coming in here we were going to be just the coffee guys, or if we were just going to be shadowing the stuff that's going on. But they have really given us the opportunity to see all these inner workings and participate in it as well. And as I mentioned, work on some of our own projects as well, just because we happen to be here. So at least that part of it has totally surpassed my expectations, and it's been so much more interesting projects than I imagined going into it.
Yeah, I figured this would be more of a passive internship where we're just kind of sitting in the background watching the meetings and just observing. But it's been a lot more active than I thought, and it's been really great because we actually get the opportunity to participate in the meetings that we sit in and to talk to people behind the scenes and stuff. So, yeah.
How has this experience shaped your understanding of a professional workspace?
I feel like it demystifies a lot of things. We spent 13 years in K-12 education, and that's been our entire lives up to this point, and this is our first foray into, the mystical working world. So just being able to see what goes on in a setting like this, what goes on in those, what are the people are working on in the finance department, how are they spending their time? We've been able to see in a whole bunch of different departments and a whole bunch of different work experiences. So it's been, I feel like demystifying is a good word, just seeing how all the stuff works.
Yeah, and I'd say more about creativity, about how you have to be thinking of new ideas and new solutions to problems that other people wouldn't think of. You have to try and be unique in that aspect. Because it's not like you're getting a worksheet in here, you just get a problem or you get a task and you have to figure it out, and there's not a clear-cut way to do it, and you have to figure out your own way to go about it.
So for instance, yesterday we had a meeting with Kevin Moynihan, the first selectman, and Tucker Murphy, who's one of the other people here in Town Hall, about the ideas for a cell tower. And so the problem is the town has bad cell coverage, and we're helping to figure out what do we do about that. So it's not like a math problem where you run through the same solution for every type of problem. It's so much more broad than that, and there are so many ways that can go. So just seeing how it's very different from school in that regard, that there's a million ways you can take it, but you gotta figure it out.
Has this helped you identify any strengths or weaknesses you may have?
I guess, I don't know if this is necessarily a strength or weakness, but it's just aspects that I feel I need to work on to grow and get better in a professional environment. I'd say time management, self-advocacy, like you said, and just collaboration and teamwork in general. Because most of the stuff you're doing, all the stuff we're doing, I'm doing with Toby. And there's a bunch of stuff we're doing with different committees or other people here who work at Town Hall. There's not really much that you're doing on your own. So you have to be able to collaborate with others and work efficiently like that. And also for self-advocacy, you have to be able to, if we had the Elm Street idea, you have to speak up and bring that up because that's the only way that's going to happen. And time management, because we have a bunch of different stuff we're working on, you have to figure out the different ways to do it. It's not we have a block schedule or anything, it's just 5 hours here. And so you got to get everything done in that time frame, yeah.
Last question. What advice would you give to future interns?
You get out what you put into it. So again, you mentioned this, but we could have chosen to just sort of lay back and play solitaire all day. But it's really, if you advocate for yourself and you get these projects that you want to work on, that makes the internship so much more memorable, and you learn so much more from that. So it's really, putting in a little bit of extra work, and you can take so much more out of it.